Many thanks to livestock collier George Campbell for sponsoring this video. My first introduction to World Sheep Shearing Records was back in 1991 when I was shearing for Trevor Middleton at Hockanui near Winton, South Island, New Zealand. The gang took the afternoon off and we headed out to Blackmount Station where David Fagan was attempting the 9-hour strong wool ewe record. He added 51 to the tally previously set by Neil St George, and at the end of the day he had an impressive 656 on the board. South Islander Edsel Ford added 8 to the record the following year, tallying 664, and 2 years later Dion Morel bet it by 15. I witnessed David Fagan regain his title in 1994, a fortnight after Dion Morel had pushed out 679. Fagan broke the 700 mark, pumping out 702 for the day. As you can see from the tally board, in subsequent years, Dion Morel, Darren Ford and Rodney Sutton took the title on 716, 720 and 721 ewes respectively. Kiwi shearer Matt Smith, who is married in Cornwall in England, is the current holder of the Strong Wool Ewes 9-hour title at 731. Back in August 23, my good friend of 30 years, Una Cameron, had asked me if I would cover the press and photography for her world shearing record attempt. I was honoured and delighted to have been asked. I caught up with Una at her home in the Borders before she headed out to New Zealand in November 23.
I'm Una Cameron. I'm a professional sheep shearer, and in August the 7th next year I'm going to attempt one of the women's world sheep shearing records. I've decided to do a world record this year, partly of something that's always been in your mind as a female shearer, or a shearer. Everybody dreams the dream. I never ever thought I was good enough, but my friends and peers from the industry have pushed me in to do it this year, and with their support I know I can do it. So I started shearing. I had my first go at it at Borders College after I left school, and I liked it, and my uncle Rob used to help me do a bit of shearing each year, and then I took it up professionally and started travelling the world in 1995. In the years I've been travelling, I've shorn in Australia, Norway, all over the UK, and I've done 20 seasons in New Zealand. I've found being a female shearer early on in the years was quite difficult. Most people assumed that you would be doing the wool if you were walking into a shearing shed anywhere in the world, so at first it was quite difficult, but most of the men I've worked with have been quite good, but there's always been the attitude of it's no place for a woman and it's no job for a woman, but I feel over the years I've maybe proved them wrong, and nowadays there's probably more young women coming into the industry than there is young men and proving themselves. There's some very, very good female shearers out there now, and it's great to see it's not the lonely job that it used to be. I run our own shearing contract run with my partner George Bain, and we shear all around the Borders in the south of Scotland and the north of England.
And do you employ anybody?
We employ 2 young shearers, Sophie Smith and her brother James Smith. James is off to New Zealand this year for his first tour. Sophie will go next year. In my career I've been the only woman in the UK to ever been graded into the open grade of shearing against the men. I'm the only woman in the world to have ever made the Golden Shears at Masterton's top 30 in 60 years of that competition running, over 60 years of that competition running. I've made open finals in the UK, I've represented Scotland at open level and lower levels, and I have represented the British Isles in a test in New Zealand. George was part of the Scottish shearing team in 1996 along with Tom Wilson when they won the World Championship shearing competition teams event in Masterton in New Zealand at the Golden Shears. Spare time we like to go horse riding, and we try and do the Border Festival common ridings if we've got time, but it's very busy in the summer, so it's hard to fit in.
I caught up with Una the day before the record. She was out on farm with Geordie, her partner, and Amy Silcock, who went for the Eve Tower record and held it for a while. Una had been on an intensive training course with Max Luxton for a year and had lost a staggering 3 stones and looked amazing. Matt and Pip Smith farm Trefank Farm, Cornwall, which has been in her family since 1703. They run 1,000 resilient Romneys using New Zealand genetics and 700 red deer with an on-farm processing facility. The farm is well set up with a Kiwi-style shearing shed and has previously hosted several successful world record attempts, including Matt's 731 9-hour strong wool title. In the afternoon, Una did some timed sprints, aiming for under a minute a sheep. Many of Una's friends travelled from across the world to support her on the day. Both her wool handlers came from Norway and others came from as far as New Zealand. About 40 people were helping out behind the scenes on the day. The judges drafted off every 20th sheep until they had 10 for shearing. The wool weight has to come to over 3 kilos a sheep, and it was a very tense moment in the shed in the weigh-in, as the whole record would be off if it didn't average out at more than 3 kilos. For a world record, 4 judges are required. Ronnie King from New Zealand was the main man, Martin David from Wales, Scotland's Andy Rankin, and England's Mark Fox.
certificate in recognition of setting a new 9-hour women's strong new record of 5:17.
So how are you feeling?
I'm sore. I ache in places I didn't know existed. Yeah, but happy, very happy.
And did you think you would manage?
I believed in my team and they believed in me, so I knew I was going to, well, I hoped I was going to get it. I wanted to go over the 500, so I've got that and I've got the record. I'm very happy.
And what kept you going?
Couldn't let the team down. Couldn't let the team down. Everybody believed in me. It was the opportunity of a lifetime I was given. You know, I can't ever repay Martin for that.
And what sort of preparation did you put into this?
I've been training since August last year to get fit enough to do this, because I was in pretty bad shape when we decided that this was a good idea. I thought it was a crazy idea, but yeah, I just started training straight away. I've been in New Zealand for the winter to keep shearing and training out there, and yeah, I've just worked really hard. And the weather's been against us all through the season. You know, it's rained, and even today it couldn't even give us a little bit of sunshine to help warm the sheep. The guys out the back did an amazing job to get them as warm as they did. But yeah, I'm very, very happy.
And what's this done for kind of women in shearing? It's just going to push the boundary a bit more.
A little bit further. There'll be others out there that will take it. It won't stay there forever. You know, there's some really good female shearers up and coming and already there. So yeah, it's.
And what's next for you?
A few weeks off training, I think, and some more curly whirlies, and a few more beers, I think, yeah. And back out to New Zealand for the winter. Yeah, so.
No more challenges?
Nothing directly, so we'll see. We'll see how we feel after this. Apparently I was allowed to retire after this, so we'll see how we feel after it, once we've recovered.
Congratulations, Una Cameron, what an achievement. I'd also like to thank George and Christopher Campbell for sponsoring this video, Katrina McPherson, Callum McInnes, Des Williams and Joanne Crawford for providing some footage and some photographs.